David Williams with Jesus Ministries here. The Illuminati is not a topic we cover much on this page because, as we've said in a past video, the Illuminati, which is comprised of wealthy, elite people in society that are international men. They answer to evil spirits, and they orchestrate the media as best as they can. They use their money for influence. Now, what I'm intending to do, and what we did in that video, was I tried to indicate that the Illuminati is fueled not just by demon spirits. The Illuminati is fueled by sin. So basically, people sin against God, and as they sin against God, then God raises up people over them who oppress them, deceive them, and bring them into bondage. Now, there's an event that I came across because I logged on to YouTube today, and if you log on to YouTube, one of the first things you come across is, at least today, which is September 26, 2014, there's an advertisement for a 3-day concert known as Tomorrowland. Now, Tomorrowland, I'll read you their Facebook description. Tomorrowland is the first international edition, or TomorrowWorld rather, is the first international edition of Tomorrowland, one of the world's most popular electronic musical festivals. Since 2005, Tomorrowland has been inspired to create the most innovative and immersive festival. In Boom, Belgium, 180,000 people from over 200 countries unite to enjoy one of the most sought-after music festival experiences in the world. In September 2013, the festival made its first international journey to the United States of America and to Chattahoochee Hills, Georgia. Like its European counterpart, TomorrowWorld is a 3-day festival and a 5-day camping experience, which sets a new level of festival with nearly 300 DJs, mind-blowing decor, animation, A-class camping, Dreamville, eccentric comfort areas, and gourmet food. TomorrowWorld 2013 was the first European festival of its scale in the US and the first to set a minimum of age 21. After an extensive site search across the globe, TomorrowWorld found its second home in Chattahoochee Hills, just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. The naturally stunning surroundings of this 8,000-acre farm are reminiscent of the enchanting ambiance present in Boom, Belgium. The site has a magically secluded feel, but is very accessible, located only 30 minutes from downtown Atlanta and the Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. And so TomorrowWorld, as it's called in the US, and Tomorrowland in its European origin, is about something that Bill Schneblin, who is a former witch, former Freemason, former Satanist, former Catholic priest, he basically sinned a lot, and God delivered him out of that. And so he's done a teaching on it. Now, what I'm going to seek to do in today's talk is, I'd like to, if possible, show you a bit of, or at least play a bit of Bill Schneblin's teaching on the Illuminati and how it's fueled by, and how it is fueled. But I'm going to play the actual Tomorrowland video without the sound, and I'll talk through it. And hopefully God will give us some understanding. The video starts off with electronic music playing. It says, "Don't miss the event of the year." And you've got people playing with the sun. You've got girls in the back. The wind is blowing in their hair as the car is moving fast. They're saying, "Be a part of the madness." You see people worshiping the sun, or at least doing these different types of expressive movements with the sun as the video's background. So now we've got some sun allegiance here, or some sun, now whether they're absorbing energy, whether they're feeding off of the energy, and then you've got the festival. Now you can only imagine what's going on during this elaborate festival. It says tomorrow is mystery, like the mystery of iniquity. Tomorrow is mystery. beautiful set if you like that kind of a thing. People are out there, they're singing, the music is playing. Why is the music playing? What's up with the music? It's there to help you tap into the lusts of your heart. It's there to get you past your barriers. There's obviously alcohol there, and this all-seeing eye is seen throughout the decor. There are people in the crowd that they're smoking, they're taking different types of drugs, bleeding, and shouting loudly, and then there are different points where there are devil eyes that are being projected through their screens. And why are they calling it TomorrowWorld? Well, Bill Schneblin tells us that one of the agendas of the Illuminati is to cause global collapse so that the standards that were set up by God are overthrown. So basically what the Bible talks about in Psalm 2, they're trying to get rid of God. That's the agenda. The agenda is to get rid of God. And so now we've got another video on TomorrowWorld's YouTube page. It's called The Opening of the Book. Bill Schneblin talks about how paganism was the beginning of civilization, as this particular leader in the Illuminati perceived it to be. His name is Adam Weishaupt, and he's a figure back in the day. I don't have time to go into who he is, but you see these fairies, that comes from paganism. There's a Kim Kardashian look-alike there, and there's a faun. This is a faun. That guy is called Pan, or he's a faun. He's half man, he's half goat. And where does that come from? That comes from sex with demons. People who have sex with demons, with females, they get pregnant. And now we've got Samhain. This guy is the stag god honored by European occultists. So these images are not pure fantasy. And where would you see these vibrant colors? When you're high on ecstasy. He's calling her to him. He's calling the fairy, but he's got a book in his hand. This is important. This is relevant. She's looking pleasurable. She's looking overcome. And you've got this big forest-like place. He's walking. He's got horns sticking out of his head. It's obviously not good. But who are they appealing to? The frustrated. They're appealing to the stressed out. Those who just want to feel. They don't want judgment anymore. They don't want government anymore. They don't want guidance by some authoritarian force anymore. They want pleasure. They want you to want pleasure. And so they're presenting this fantasy world, and they're trying to sow this in the hearts of the people so that the people themselves begin to want this euphoria, this utopia. They begin to want this world, this fantasy world, escape the real world, get into this fantasy world. So here they are in Chattahoochee, Georgia, and we see them coming across the bridge. At some point, we're going to see those who are attending the festival, but you've got this imagery. What is this imagery designed to do? It's designed to invoke feelings, invoke thoughts, and to sow things into the viewer. And so you've got these colors. And this is what the Word of God describes as wickedness. You see the all-seeing eye on this major book. There's a lot of money that's been poured into this. You got occult books in the background, Book of Mirrors there with a small angel at the far left of your screen. The purple and golden book. There's Pan again. There's a fawn. There's these other creatures, half man, half animal. Genesis 6 talks about how the people were, the imaginations of their hearts were only evil continually. God saw this and God destroyed them. What do their glasses say? Indeed, rehab. Now, the interesting thing is that that's exactly where many of the people will need to be once this festival is done. Why? Because there's drugs here, sex here, there's all manner, there's food here, alcohol, all manner of unbridled lust. The Europeans have come, they're gathering in this situation, they're gathering for this 5-day camp festival. Can you imagine how many abortions are going to come out of this? Now you've got the stag god and goddess. The goddess in witchcraft is greater than the god. And that's where Halloween originated, Samhain, Lord Samhain, of course Yule, which is where Christmas originated, not the theme of Jesus Christ, but the theme of just the whole tree and the holly, and she's the stag goddess. This is paganism. This is pure pagan. These are actual pagan figures. By pagan, we're not just talking about godless. We're talking about a specific occultic religion that came from the German area, the areas up in the highlands of the European landscape. But you see how much has gone into this. Now you've got this book. So what are we glorifying here? Fantasy. We're glorifying knowledge. We're glorifying access into another world, which is what these people who are leading us down the wrong path, they want us to get caught up in. Now we've got the fairy tale keepers. People want a fairy tale. We've got faces talking out of these books. What are these faces representing? You've got this guy who's kind of feminine right there. You've got this face. She's speaking for us. I'm not even going to play what she's saying. If you want to watch this on your own time and play what she's saying, you may do so. I'm not going to do it, but here it is. What are we getting into here? Bill Schneblin calls this the intent of the Illuminati. Happiness on the bottom left of your screen. That's what that book says. Bottom left of your screen, almost toward the middle part of the screen. They want you to get caught up in this fairy tale deception. That is their agenda. They want you to get caught up, even though you should be doing something. You should be applying yourself. You should be trying to make the world a better place by Jesus Christ, because he's the God of the earth. But no, they want you to get caught up in the demonic. That is what they want you to get caught up in, and that is their intention. Because, and why is the all-seeing eye here? Because the Illuminati, they fund these things by funding the artists, by supporting what it is that Satan is trying to do, and they do this by way of sin. And so what you and I have to understand is that sin is the open door to deception. And so I'm going to end on this note. Again, this is David Williams with Jesus Ministries. I'm going to play about 6 minutes or so of Bill Schneblin describing this, and it's going to be a direct clip from a YouTube video called Exposing the Illuminati from Within Part 1, Bill Schneblin. Here he is, brothers. God bless all of you who love our Lord Jesus Christ. If you live in that area, you're going to want to pray and ask God to defend, protect you, guide you, because there are going to be all kind of things released over that area.
Now, Adam Weishaupt had a plan. He had a worldview. He thought history moved in a certain cycle, and he believed that if he could catch these cycles, it would basically enable him to rule the world. He saw history as being divided into 5 stages, and you see them there. This was called the law of 5s. You have chaos, discord, confusion, bureaucracy, and aftermath. And here's how it worked. In chaos was what Adam Weishaupt believed was mankind's best and purest state. Excuse me, it was a state of what we would today call paganism, where you're just like the noble savage of Rousseau, hopping through the forest, gathering herbs, hugging trees. I mean, Al Gore would love this. You know, basically being a witch and worshiping a mother goddess, and everything is happy and joyful and tra-la-la-la-la. Well, needless to say, this couldn't last forever. Into this Edenic state comes the serpent. Except in this case, the serpent's name is Jehovah. And Jehovah brings with him the evil cult of monotheism. Now, monotheism is the belief that there's only one true living God. That's what Jews believe, that's what Christians believe, and it's even what Muslims believe. But it's diametrically opposed to paganism. And this is why pagans hate Christians so much, is that we insist that we've got the only right way. If you talk to a witch, they'll say something like, well, that's your truth and I've got my truth, and everybody's got their own truth, and it's blah, 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 you know. It's sort of like, you know, they've got cream filling between their ears, amen? Anyway, that's why we call New Agers Twinkies. They got cream filling between their ears. Anyway, what happened is that the evil monotheists, according to Weishaupt, this isn't me, this is him talking, so to speak, that they oppressed the happy pagans and made them follow rules. They made them stop fornicating in the bushes with everything that moved. They made them stop smoking dope. They made them stop worshiping false gods. They took all their fun away. And this caused a lot of discord and a lot of confusion, because the pagans kept wanting to keep doing all of this stuff because it was fun. And so this caused the third stage to come along. And the third stage is confusion. And this happened because, you see, the monotheists had to come up with a reason for why these stupid pagans were still insisting on doing this, and so they invented the idea of the devil. And the devil was making them do it. And so they tried to introduce a devil figure to explain the problems they were having, but that didn't work. So the synthesis of stage 3 failed, and this leads to stage 4, which is bureaucracy. I'm sure none of us have any idea what that is like. And what you've got here is this philosophy that emerges where everything must be carefully tracked because the average people, that's you and me, folks, are dumb. We're as dumb as a mud fence. We couldn't even find our way out of our pajamas without the government's help. Isn't that right? You know, and so they micromanage everything. And this makes us feel frustrated. It makes us feel alienated, and that's exactly what he wanted. That's exactly what Weishaupt wants, because when people get frustrated and they get alienated, what do? They start smoking dope, they start getting drunk, they start retreating into fantasies, you know, like Star Wars or Star Trek or soap operas or, you know, romance novels or whatever the case might be. And as a result of this, most people end up on the dole or in mental hospitals. This starts eating away at the middle class. And of course, the middle class, excuse me, is a source of all capital. And so eventually the society runs out of money. Unless it starts counterfeiting, which of course is what's going on today. And what happens is the whole thing collapses of its own weight, and we end up with aftermath, where the whole thing kind of implodes and falls into ultimate chaos. And then we start over again with the happy pagans. Except this time, the happy pagans are ruled over by a benign philosopher king named Adam Weishaupt. So this was his plan. This is the basic worldview of the Illuminati, and that is reflected in terms of its penetration into Masonry. I'm going to show you here a blow-up of my Scottish Rite certificate. Notice what you see up there. Right under the all-seeing eye, it says Ordo ab Chao. That's Latin. It means order out of chaos. And that's just what I was talking about. This is like the Hegelian dialectic, it's called in philosophy. It's simply put, you artificially create a crisis, and then you provide a solution to the crisis, which of course involves more bureaucracy and more government regulations, and all of a sudden you've had more of your freedom chewed up by some bureaucrat. And this is the idea behind the whole Illuminati game plan. Now, he believed this theory to be true, and he had infiltrated many of the lodges, and the balloon was almost ready to go up. He was ready to bring down the crown heads of Europe. But God, those are two of my favorite words in the Bible, by the way, but God had other ideas. And believe it or not, an Illuminati courier was galloping through the night, and he was hit by a lightning bolt. I'm not kidding. This is history, folks. And he was blown to bits.